A very good afternoon and thank you for joining us on Newsroom series on Channels Television. I'm Dominic Iwiwu. Today we will be focusing on the northwest region of the country. But before we get into most of the news making rounds there, let's take a look at national headlines. The House of Representatives has passed a resolution to carry out a forensic investigation into the resurgence of fuel queues in parts of the country following an urgent motion by Honorable Billy Osawuru. The House is also to investigate alleged indiscriminate issuance of licenses for importation of PMS, importation of substandard petroleum products, as well as failure of regulators. In passing the motion, the House questions why the issue of fuel scarcity continues to resurface despite related assurances by the NNPCL and petroleum marketers. Following a motion of urgent national importance sponsored by 88 members, the House of Representatives is asking the federal government to suspend the implementation of the Samuel Agreement until all controversial clauses are addressed and clearly spelled out. Moving the motion, Honorable Aliyu Madaki drew attention to the clause which highlights gender equality and describes it as a Trojan horse which could violate the morals of the country. The House also mandates its relevant committees to carry out an investigation. Members of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, of Ahmadu Bello University today staged the peaceful protest within campuses across the country to demand for the immediate release of their withheld salaries. Carrying placards with different inscriptions, the aggrieved union members marched round the universities calling on the federal governments to release their salaries and implement other outstanding demands of the association. Members of
If at the end of this protest in the campuses does nothing, there's going to be also a grand protest on the 18th at Abuja. Subsequently, if there's nothing from the government, we're afraid that we will have to go on an indefinite strike. And it is at this moment I want to also call on the government to consider the students that are in the campuses now, because they will be at the receiving end. The non-teaching staff are the custodian of virtually all the community services within the university campuses. We take care of the lights, we take care of the water, the hostels, even the classrooms and lecture theaters where students take their lectures. So if we are forced to move on an indefinite strike, all these services are going to be shut. The university health service will be shut down also. We are going to withdraw all our services until our demand is met by the federal government. So we are appealing to the government to adhere to our requests and do something before it gets to the worst. Our major demands, one is the payment of the 4-month withheld salaries. Secondly, also, there is the payment of the backlog, so the payment of the arrears of the 25% salary increase from January 2023 to December, which is not paid. We also want the government to set up another committee for the negotiation of our agreements. We also want the government to release the 50 billion that was appropriated in 2023 for the payment of arrears of back and arrears of end allowance. These are our major demands.
Thank you, sir. Your name again?
My name is Comrade Mame Enuse, Chairman San Ebu, also Chairman Jack Ebu Zaria.
members also protested in the northwestern states of Zamfara and Kano states.
We are doing this protest to show the country and Nigerian federal government that our grievances are yet to be met. The first in our grievances is the withheld 4-month salary 2022 by the previous administration, which we believe government is a continuous process. And with the taking side of paying other sister unions in the university and not paying SANU and NASU is not a good one to the system. We were thinking of going for, we have done a warning strike of 2 weeks, which the federal government called us, and we adhere by the sitting. An agreement was reached, but up to now, nothing has been done. And that's why we are doing this protest, to show the federal government that if nothing is being done, in some weeks' time, we will shut down the system. We believe that as academic staff are relevant in the system, we too are relevant, because the system cannot run without SANU and NASU.
Governor Dauda Lawal of Zamfara State has assured the residents of the state that the insecurity bedeviling the state is a matter of time, expressing confidence that the situation will improve over time. The governor gave the assurance on Monday evening in Gusau, the Zamfara state capital, at a dinner organized in honor of his recent Nigeria Excellence in Public Service Awards Presidential Award. Governor Dauda Lawal last Saturday received the Distinguished Award for Project Innovation for the numerous projects initiated and completed by his administration within 1 year. While addressing the gathering, Governor Lawal emphasized that while the state is currently facing significant security challenges, the efforts being made by his government and security agencies will eventually lead to peace and stability. He solicited more prayers from residents, highlighting the importance of spiritual support in overcoming these difficulties.
So I'm appealing to you. There'll be more challenges. There'll be more questions to ask. I'll push you harder and harder until we get it right. So let's continue to pray for Zamfara. The major challenge we are facing in the area of insecurity, inshallah, is a matter of time. The security operatives are here and they are doing their best to make sure we are fully secure so that people can go around doing their things, their daily lives. So prayer is key, and we'll continue to appeal to all of us to pray, because if Zamfara becomes good, everybody will be happy. So it's a matter of time. By the grace of Allah, things will be at the right place at the right time.
The former Chief of Defense Staff, General Martin Luther Agwai, has raised concern that Nigeria and the African continent might witness another wave of insecurity and youth restiveness if the high level of unemployment, poverty and hunger are not curtailed by government and other critical stakeholders. The former defense chief, who raised the alarm at the 18th Annual International Conference organized by the Society for Peace Studies and Practice in collaboration with the Nigerian Defense Academy in Kaduna State, says the government must adopt both kinetic and non-kinetic measures to address the contemporary and emerging security challenges bedeviling Nigeria, in particular the West African sub-region in general.
Scholars from different fields of education, security experts and policymakers gather at the Gaba Hall of the Nigerian Defense Academy in Kaduna for the 18th Annual International Conference organized by the Society for Peace Studies and Practice. The conference, with the theme Community Engagement, Networking, Kinetic and Non-Kinetic Capabilities for Tackling Insecurity in Africa, is aimed at resolving security challenges using other methods than military intervention.
We therefore suggest that if we leverage on our human and natural resources.
In his lecture, the guest speaker, Professor Freedom Onoha, notes that the use of kinetic measures to address the lingering conflicts that have plagued the African continent for several years have not yielded the desired result.
The problem is that we have not come to terms on the centrality of community engagement as the sinew, as the bond, as the glue for connecting these two approaches, for them to be effective, for them to be impactful, for them to be successful. And it's on the basis of that I want to share my core argument. Even if I don't run through the entire slide, my core argument, as I presented in the slide before you, is that community engagement offers a veritable sinew for stitching together the kinetic and the non-kinetic approaches to managing security so that it will be sustainable, so that it will be successful, and more importantly, so that it will not be impactful.
Supporting this approach in fighting insecurity, the former Chief of Defense Staff, General Martins Luther Agwai, warns of a looming wave of insecurity in the country and West Africa if the prevailing poverty, unemployment, and state of hopelessness amongst the youth is not urgently addressed by the government and regional bodies.
The youth will help you because they have energy, they have everything to do. They will help you to do what is right, and they will also help you to do what is wrong, depending on the way you use the youth. You can see the degree of what unemployment and poverty can bring.
Represented by his Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, the Governor of Borno State shares his state's community engagement model for tackling the Boko Haram insurgency.
As I speak to you, we are resettling over 30 towns and villages for the rest of the year, and this will continue for the rest of the administration's tenure. Now, community engagement. This is the binding force, as clearly proved by Professor Noah. Community engagement is the binding force for the kinetic and the non-kinetic.
If you know you're going to come at the end of the day to a table, why start the conflict in the first place? And that's why we want to research, rub minds with people of high intellectual capability to see if we can research and find ways of using peaceful means to resolve issues.
The consensus by stakeholders is that community engagement remains a veritable tool to address the nation's contemporary and emerging security challenges, due to the fact that when the people are carried along, they are more likely to cooperate with security agencies and share intelligence information in order to participate in non-kinetic initiatives.
The national leadership of the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria has called on the federal government to address socio-economic problems affecting Fulani pastoralists across the country due to their long years of neglect by past administrations. Speaking to journalists during the association's meeting in Kaduna, the national president of MACBAN, Baba Ngazams, noted that pastoral communities in Nigeria have long been confronted with multifaceted challenges ranging from insecurity to socio-economic marginalization, which not only affects their livelihoods, but also threaten the peace and unity of the nation. He therefore calls for equal treatment of pastoralists in the implementation of all federal government's economic and agricultural policies, which he notes are most times in favor of the agronomy subsector.
Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeder Association across the local governments in Kaduna State, we are all here. We have come here for the purpose of the election. So I have used the opportunity to sensitize them against the use of allowing the youth to get involved in the use of illicit drugs, against proliferation of arms, against getting the youth involved in all sorts of crimes. I urge them to be good ambassadors that will be embracing peace, working closely with the government to ensure peace across the state, working closely with all the security agencies that are in the state to ensure peaceful coexistence between farmers and herders in the state, and not only that, to ensure the overall security of the state and Nigeria in general. So this is a good opportunity for me to relay some vital information to members so that they can take it down to grassroots membership of the association, to desist from getting themselves involved in things that will put them in direct line with security issues in the country.
Well, let's get more on the security situation in the Northwest. Joining us on the program is a former security advisor to the former governor of Katsina State, Bello Masari, Ibrahim Katsina, who joins us from our Abuja studio. A pleasure having you, sir.
You're welcome. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. So let's just get straight into it. So many things have been said about tackling insecurity in the Northwest. The latest being from the Zamfara state governor, who is confident that the situation will improve over time in his states and by extension the region. Are the right things being done to see this through?
Yeah, actually, you see, I'm happy with the comments made by the Zamfara State Governor. With proper synergy, we can overcome these challenges. Because actually, most of our security challenges are community-based, and they require community-based solutions. And from the seminar that was just held in Kaduna, where the former Chief of Army Staff, General Martin Luther Agoy, made some comments that we need to build peace among communities in order to overcome the challenges. That is apt, because you see, the truth of the matter is, these security challenges we are facing in the North are community-based. When we involve members of the communities, these criminal elements are known by members of the communities, and with proper synergy, you can track them down. Let members of the communities agree to cooperate with members of the security forces, with the government, to fish out these criminals and deal with them. It's as simple as that. Because the truth of the matter is, the Southwest has shown us the leeway. You remember when some group of our elements tried to do this separatist agitation? What happened? The communities isolated them. And that gave the government the impetus and the security agencies to track them down and deal with them. So in the North, if we do that, it will be very easy for us to overcome these challenges. And when we do that, we have stable peace. And let me be frank with you, there's no amount of pressure you can put on the security agencies that will subdue this problem without the collaboration of the communities. So I'm happy the governor of Zamfara has set the pace, and the other governors are keying in. Even last month there was a conference at Katsina organized by the United Nations for the Northwest governors for proper collaboration between the state actors and non-state actors. I'm sure if we do that, it will assist us to overcome these challenges, and by implication, these problems will be over. Because the problems, for me, with proper structured arrangement, we can overcome them. The issue is there's no deliberate effort made to have a structured arrangement for the immediate short-term and long-term measures. Because whatever you do, if you don't structure your action plan, you will just be perambulating, and the criminal elements are developing actually. So that's my take on this.
Okay, sir. Now, we also have heard that the army is asking for increased information and possible intelligence from the public. The question is now, these people who would come forward from the public, how secure are they after they render this information to the security agencies?
Yeah, definitely. Members of the public must cooperate with the security agencies. You see, this crime, every crime has a local content. It starts as a local problem. Members of these communities are shielding the criminal elements. The moment members of the communities decide to cooperate with the security forces, I am telling you, in a very short time, we'll overcome these challenges. But the problem is members of the communities are shielding these criminal elements. How can the security forces succeed without the collaboration of the members of the communities? Let us tell ourselves the truth. Members of the communities should cooperate with the security forces by giving information to them the way the criminal elements in the communities are collaborating with the criminals and serving as their informants. Instead of passing information to the criminal elements, let them pass it to the security forces. The security forces and the government are trying their best, but without the cooperation of members of the communities, it will be very difficult for us to overcome these challenges, because most of the informants are inside the communities. They know where the criminal elements are. And let me be frank with you, everybody knows this fact, that these criminals are trackable. Their locations are known, their names are known, and what's the big deal? It remains for members of the communities to assist the security forces with relevant information that will assist them to track down these criminal elements and take them off. But all the time we're putting pressure on the security forces and the government, forgetting the fact that it is the community that should collaborate with the security forces and give them useful and credible information that will assist them to overcome these challenges. So as far as I'm concerned, without collaboration with members of the communities, it will be difficult for us to overcome these challenges.
Okay.
But when the communities decide to cooperate with security forces, and we can achieve this by involving traditional rulers, religious leaders that command respect in these communities, I am telling you, if we give them proper cover, they will assist us to overcome these challenges. Because the truth of the matter is, when the security forces advance to go and track these criminal elements, the members of the communities are those that will allow the criminals to ambush them, kill them. And we're going back to square one the moment we neglect the communities in fighting this crime. So my take is, let us involve the communities effectively. There should be proper sensitization, mobilization of the communities to collaborate with the security forces and the government to overcome these challenges. When we do that, within a short time, with structured arrangement, it will be over. Because this problem we're facing is one problem too many. It has taken so long. Let us sit down, let us plan, let us change our strategy, let us change our approach, and when we do that, it will be history. Many nations that face these challenges, what they did is they came back to the drawing table, sat down with the experts, and did the needful. And I think that's what we should do. These stakeholders roundtables that are being held, let us put these reports together. Let us come up with a structured arrangement, with timeline that will transit out of this problem.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. We've been joined by Ibrahim Katsina, who is a former special assistant to the former governor of Katsina State, Bello Masari. Thank you very much for your thoughts.
Thank you so much.
President, we're just receiving some breaking news now. President Tinubu creates the Ministry of Livestock Development. This follows calls for him to create a Ministry of Livestock Resources to curb the incessant clashes between farmers and herders. This was part of the recommendations of the National Livestock Reforms Committee, which submitted its reports to the President on Thursday in Abuja. The committee, which was inaugurated by Abdullahi Ganduje, former governor of Kano, in January, was chaired by Atahiru Jega, the ex-chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission. In its recommendations, the committee said the federal government's plan to establish grazing reserves should be resuscitated. And that's it on Newsroom Series. Thank you for joining us. I'm Dominic Iwiwu.